Hello guys and welcome. My name is Sir. In this week's video we are going to be talking about wrenches. So wrenches is one of the main tools used by many automotive people like mechanics to me, myself and everybody. So in this week's video I'm going to be guiding you about every different types of wrenches and how do they work and the regular stuffs about wrenches. So this guide will fully explain you about wrenches and you don't need to browse any more things about wrenches. So let's get into this week's video. So we'll start off with wrenches, guys. So wrenches, it's a type of mechanical thing which you do by your hand. Wrenches are there of three types. Okay, so three types of them are open end, box end and combination. Then we'll move on, guys. So first of all, before starting over there, we will move right over here. So if you can see here in this particular diagram, if you can see that diagram, I have written the distance across flats. Now I'll explain you what I'm using this green marker, but it doesn't write, but I'll just show you. Okay, so I'll just move back on and you can see right over here. So if you can see right over here, distance across flats at this particular point, if you can see this wrenches, okay, or else for example let's take this one, it seems to be small. Okay, let's take this point, okay, the middle area, this mark, I have drew a line here with two crosses, and if you can see the distance, that part is the distance which calculates it. For example, if you got a 10 millimeter bolt, okay, let's just say we got a 10 millimeter bolt and we need a 10 millimeter socket, this okay, we need a 10 millimeter wrenches. Okay, so this is the distance across flats. You see this is a flat area and this is a flat area, and that's the distance. If this is 10 millimeter, that means you can use the 10 millimeter wrench on the bolt head or a nut, whatever it depends on. So that's how you measure the tool. Like what I'm coming to say is that how you measure what kind of tool size you need to work on that particular thing, like a bolt head or a nut. So that's how you select your wrenches, and that's how a wrench is configured. And now let's move on to the original one which I'm going to be talking about. So that is about open end. So open end wrenches, guys. Before talking about open end wrench, generally a wrench, right, this part of the wrench, this is the wrench part where you can attach your bolt or something. It depends on whatever you're taking on. Again and again I'm saying that, yeah. So that's the area. So that particular area is 15 degrees. Okay, so it's 15 degrees such that you can fit the bolt or the bolt head very easily on the wrench, and the other part of the wrench is about 90 degrees, and the reason towards that is that you get a good gripping angle. When it's 15 degrees, it may be a little bit uncomfortable to your palm. To make it much more better, so engineers have made it in 90 degrees. One part will be 90 degrees, another part will be in 15 degrees. So it's useful to work on tight spaces and it's easier to handle also. So that's a great invention about them also. So open end speaks for itself. It's open in this area. If you can see this area, I'm gonna shade it in this color. It's coming like blue, but yeah, if you can see this area where I shaded, it's open, it's not closed yet. Just like an open thing, like a circle is a closed figure, right? And I don't think so there is no unclosed figure at all. But let's just say for example, okay guys, so I'm taking right over here. Okay, so this is a circle which is an closed end, and the open end would be just like this. This is an open end. If you can see this area which I'm just doing like that, yeah, that area is open. So that doesn't mean a closed, that we say closed figure, but in a wrench and tools such as this, we just say it as open and close end. That's it, open end and close end. This is an open end wrench. And open end wrench, there is another category of them which is known as a tubing wrench. You see tubes like which is going to transmission fluids and coolant things and all those types of things, they have some bolts on them, and to remove those things the tubing wrenches are required, or you can use a crowfoot wrench. A tubing wrench is specially designed so that they can fit over the tube. They have enough space. Okay, this is example how it looks. It has like few planes like a hexagon, like just like this and moving, but it's not a hexagon. I will talk about that. Okay, so that's our tubing wrench. It makes sure it has enough space to go over the tube and loosen or tighten the tube, and that's it for the tubing wrench. And if you don't have a tubing wrench, that's not a problem. You can use a crowfoot wrench. It doesn't mean crow's foot, but let's be serious right now. So a crowfoot wrench, guys, I didn't draw right over here, but here's the photo right over here. So a crowfoot wrench looks just like that, and it's specially designed just like a tubing wrench to fit over a tube to tighten or loosen whatever your thing is about. So that's a crowfoot wrench and that's a tubing wrench. One thing you want to know about is that a crowfoot wrench generally requires an extension. You can't use a crowfoot wrench generally. It's not like a regular wrench with the come out the handle and everything. No, a crowfoot wrench requires the extension. They have a box opening here. If you can see this photo right here, yeah, That's why they require an extension. And next, if we move on, we have box and wrench. And before talking about box and wrench, guys, I would like you to mention to please consider subscribing to my channel. If you can see, I have written right over here. So guys, please consider subscribing to my channel, like this video and share this video, and let's continue on with the video. So box and wrenches. So box and wrenches speaks for itself. Just like I said before, it's closed. And box and wrenches, like one thing I want to say itself, okay, wrenches have two sides in them. What's the special thing about using a wrench and a socket? I'll talk about sockets later, okay. Sockets, they don't have two times the same of the thing, okay. I'll talk in the next video about sockets and wrenches and comparison about them, okay. So if you can see why wrenches are much more better is that if you can see a wrench has two sides in them. If you can see this photo right over here, yeah, so a wrench has two sides in them. Like I said before, box, open and combination. In the end of the video, in the combination wrenches, I'll explain that one. But yeah, if you see an open end and a box, and they are more configurable, and then the combination, but I don't prefer combination, but if you want, you can use them. But here is the thing which I want to be talking about, guys. So an open end, okay, we have sizes from 1 to ranging up to 13 and more than that itself, okay. So for example, if we say just having 1 to 13, what's the advantages is that one part of the wrench, okay, there are two sides like I said before. One will be 1, another will be 2, and another wrench will be 3 and 4. So if you can see, you're saving weight. If it's only 1, let's say, okay, then only space 1, and you require more space and you require more material. Why am I saying material is that that's steel. The same thing when you can add just little more to make another one, and you're saving weight and you're saving cost by buying them. And that's the main important thing which I want to be talking about wrenches. That's it. So that's why you can save weight. That's the main important thing which I'm saying, guys. And that's why it's so easy and it's so less, what am I saying is that it's less in expensive and less in weight also. That's why wrenches is most likely used more than sockets. But you need sockets. It's really important. Without sockets, you cannot live in automobile engineering world. So that's the main cool thing about wrenches. Two sides, and one will be one size and another will be second size, and that's great. Why combination wrench I don't prefer is that both the sides are equal. Okay, wrench and box and wrench, like I said before, wait, we are coming to box and wrench now only. But if you can see box and open end wrench, they have same size, but they do some things a bit different. Okay, I am studying 8th standard, but if I myself am going to 9th standard next year, what happens is that I know more than 8th standard because I studied and I am coming to 9th standard. Just like that, this has studied already, and this is studied and got graduated and it's studying that, and it knows that very well. And just like I am saying, now let's move on to box and wrenches. So box and wrenches, first if you can see that an open end wrench and a box end wrench, if you can see here, and example, there's a bolt guy. That's not how it's mentioned like bolt, but it doesn't look like that. But yeah, if you can see, the red represents a bolt. And if you can see an open end wrench, I'm taking this color right over here. Okay, and one more reason, I'm just seeing like that type, but doesn't mean I'm having a paper on that side. Why I'm seeing is that actually I don't have a second view screen in my camera, like you know that flipping steps. I don't have them. Like I had, but I broke it unfortunately. So I am just using a mirror on background, so I see myself whether it's nice, and that's why I'm not seeing any paper. Okay, I have already studied them. One thing I will say, first study, don't memorize, and just understand and study, and then you can do it. I'm not seeing anything. You can trust me. If you don't trust me, I don't care, but I'm telling the honest truth of an automobile car. I promise on car, okay? I never lie about cars. Okay, let's move on. So that's it about box and open wrench. If you can see this area, okay, that part is open, and what does it mean? Sometimes when you're tightening, and the open end wrench sometimes may cause slippage. Sometimes it may cause slippage, like I'm saying, it can move out from the bolt. Like what I'm saying is that it can come out of the bolt sometimes, so it's dangerous and you don't want them. And one more thing is that if you want to take off end wrench, what you have to do is that pull it towards your body slowly, loose it towards like this and pull it towards your body. That's the safest way. And if you move on box and wrench, if you can see, is there any open space? No. And that's why it's a great thing about box and wrenches is that it's completely covering the bolt. The bolt is completely covered by the wrench, such that you cannot slip away, except if you pull it like this, it will come off. But yeah, that's a great thing. And a box and wrench generally requires a bit more area, and it can be used in tight spaces also. That's a great important thing about a box and wrench. So in a box and wrench, it has point socket in them. And what's the point socket is that the number of teeth like grip present inside a socket. That's it, PT. And they are said in PT, and it's short form for point socket. That's what they say it as. Okay, they don't say PS, but they just say it as PT. And point socket is that what? And point sockets are for two types. For wrenches there are two types, and for sockets there are three. Next video I will tell about that one. But yeah, in point socket there are only two, that is 6 and 12. That's it. So if you can see, this is a point socket here. This is a point socket, but this is a box and wrench. Okay, just like I'm saying, a circle, and inside these are the things like a hexagon. 6 is for hexagon, and double the hexagon is this. And one more thing you want to know is that the lesser the point socket is, the higher the strength, but the lesser it is, it's more harder to get in the socket or the wrench. Sorry, the lesser the point socket, the more strength it has, but the lesser the point socket it is, it's much more harder to fit over the nut bolt head or the nut itself. So it's really hard for fitting above them, because what's the point is that the 6-point wrench, what's the main disadvantages is that it is fitting over the nut bolt on the strengthened part, the side, the width of them. Okay, they have just like this. Okay, for example, okay, they don't fit in the cornering area, they are tightly hold on those area, so getting over on that is a bit harder. That's why smaller ones are harder, and many people prefer that one. If you can see, this is how a box and wrench looks, and it's about 15 degrees set apart, and that's it. So that's about box and wrench. So I just turned myself in this side, and now let's move on to combination wrenches. So combination wrench consists of both open and a box, and that's the specialty of a combination wrench. It has both open and a box in it. And a combination wrench has two sizes in it, known as standard and a long. Why is a standard used? A standard is used in a tight spaces, you know, like some spaces where you cannot fit any part, like it's really difficult, and those are the spaces where you use the standard combination wrench. Or if you're having excessive space and you need leverage to tighten a bolt or a nut head, for example, no, nut head doesn't have a head, I mean bolted, I'm sorry, just a bit confusing, but you won't understand it. So yeah, that's the thing, standard for in tight spaces, and for long where space is little more higher, if you say like a greater volume of space, and those spaces you need more leverage, or generally you need leverage. So those are the long one. The length of the part is, the more leverage you have, and I explained in the next video about torque and that leverage steps, and you can wait on that one. So that's how it looks. So if you can see one end, okay, I'm just putting a box over here. This is not box end, this is the box end. If you can see, I have put two boxes. Okay, if you can see, this part is an open end wrench, whereas this part is a box end. You're just attaching together each one by metals, and that's, if you can see, one end is open, another one is box. And the main disadvantage is about this one is that, but it's an advantages, but it requires more tools. I mean, the combination wrench, if you see example, let's say a 20 piece, okay, if you take a box and a combination wrench, okay, if you take a box and a combination wrench, for example, 40 pieces of box and wrench is only 20, because two sides, like I'm saying, and it's equalized. But here you require 20 of 20. You know why? I mean, you require 40 pieces. You know why? Same size, guys. You're having, okay, let's say 20 means in this one you get 20, for 40 you get 20, because you know the reason I explained you. This one you only get the same 20 of the same size. Okay, the box, and for example, this is a 10 millimeter, and this is also a 10 millimeter. That's the disadvantage about that. But you require more one, and if you are a show guy like me and you require more tools to show to people, then you might consider buying a combination wrench. But I don't, even though I'm a show guy, I will choose an open end wrench and a box end. If you are intelligent, you will do that, because it's just weight. Combination wrench is actually a good one to sell it, but really it requires more tool space and more things. And I don't have my own shop even, guys. I'm just a small guy, and yeah, I'm an idiot. Without a place to work on cars, I just work on my driveway with the tools and everything. I don't even have storage space. Okay, I just have tools, and yeah. So guys, that's it for this week's video about these things. And the last part, like I said before, we are going to be talking about the Project Race Car. The Project Race Car build is going so nice, and asking sponsorship to many companies, and tools are going very nice. Okay, Craftman, they are cooperating with me very well. I think Craftman will send me tools, and let's see, guys. I hope this goes well, and I hope the sponsors select me. I'm believing if they don't, that's it, then the project is going to come to an end. But I'm praying that this project comes to opening, not to an end. I don't want to come this project when I have dreamed so much, I have worked so much. I have even preferred the CAD model. If you can see this photo right over here, that's the CAD modeling of this the Project Race Car. And I hope you guys like this video. Share this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and hope you like this one. And that's a full thing, a full guide to learn how cars work. About, like, this is only about wrenches, okay, just a small topic of a big sea. Okay, it's a very small topic. For 100%, we just completed 0.99. It's very less. Don't think we're just seeing this. I learned something. No. There are a lot of things, but don't demote yourself. Let's moving forward. And guys, I'll see you next time around. Peace.